You're listening to episode 82.
82?
82
Oh,
of
Fresh Floppies.
It's 82 and I forget the title.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Fresh Floppies.
Yay!
Hey, what's up to our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? You're, like we said, listening to Fresh Floppies. And
Fresh Floppies.
We're going to talk about this week's books that are brand new. And we're not going to spoil them. So that you can go into your local comic shop well-equipped to figure out what you want to buy or maybe not buy. Oh, did I say no spoilers?
No spoilers.
Okay. So let's get started.
Who are you?
I'm JD of JDsHeroComplex.shop. Hero Complex. It's a local comic shop. And you know what? The world is small these days. It's local to everyone now. Local comic shop, 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA. Come buy my stuff.
I'm
Specifically, oh yeah, I guess you're here.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. You're the guy doing the creepy whispers. Absolute Wonder Woman. I'm sorry.
Did we get new mics and that's why I'm being a douche about it?
Yeah. They're nice. They're almost a little too much. They're a little too strong.
I feel like I'm important now.
Can hear my tummy rumbling. DC presents all in number 4 of Absolute Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
By Kelly Thompson.
Hayden Sherman.
Hayden
MF Sherman.
And this is The Last Amazon, part 4 of 5.
So this is part 4. We could spoil what happened in part 3.
Yeah. The best, in my opinion, in my estimation.
In your feeling.
In my feels.
In my bones.
The best issue of any of the Absolute books so far, from me.
Out of
all of them.
9 so far.
Yeah.
That's the best one issue.
Mm-hmm. That's the one that I've remembered so far the most.
It was the most recent.
Touche. Go on.
Goldfish. There's a reveal in Absolute Wonder Woman number 3 that did throw me for a loop.
Yeah.
And that's what you're referring to. Mm-hmm. She has a prosthetic arm.
Yeah.
She, in a magic spell, she removed her own arm to send Steve Trevor back home from hell.
Yeah.
And her arm is magic, and she's got this amazing prosthetic, and it's like, fuck you. This is so goddamn good.
It's so good. What a fun reveal.
And then like they kind of take on from that what feels like a conclusion to this arc in this issue. There's a big bad and a big solution and big magic and secrets are revealed. What did you think of this? I mean, I feel like
this is my favorite Absolute book. There's only 3 to be fair, but this is number 1 for me.
You know what? Each Absolute book, the 3 that are out now, Batman, Superman, and this, I think they're scratching very different itches. So I'm apprehensive to be like, this is my favorite or not. Like, this one is emotionally my favorite.
Yeah.
Superman is my like the meme, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme oh, you're doing that that. That's like it's the most almost like structurally surprising. And then the Batman one is just like guttural, like like it's more of like an action book with like it's smarter. It's smarter than it needs to be. But if this one has my heart. Yeah. This is like the most emotionally satisfying
one. Which makes sense for a Wonder Woman book.
It does.
She's the heart, right, of the DC universe. And I think the reason I keep pushing this is because it feels like the most slept on, especially when it comes to my shop specifically.
I feel like all Wonder Woman stuff is slept on.
Yeah, it really is. Wonder Woman does not get the love she deserves sometimes. I also say from me, because it's not until recently that I've really been on the Wonder Woman kick. What was it? The Azzarello stuff I loved, which is apparently hated now.
Yeah, I mean, New 52 was a weird time. When I read it, I absolutely loved it, and I was like, this is so different and new. I mean, it was also what 2004 something.
I don't know.
It was early, so like through a modern lens, there's some Azzarello misogyny.
Oh, it's Azzarello, yeah.
Yeah. Sure. So it's like I when people complain about it, it's just like I get it. I don't feel that way because I read it at a very specific time and it was very new and enjoyable to me. But I'm not going to like fight it. Like, yeah, it's misogynist.
That's a conversation for another time. I don't want to get off track, but I feel like maybe the characters are misogynist, but I don't know how the story itself is misogynist. But
I'll do it really quick.
Okay.
Where they changed her origin, they made her basically a product of sexual violence, and then she propagated more sexual violence. So like they changed her origin to be the love child of a rape, and then the whole story was all of like the bastard children of the rape trying to like take over, and just that underlying many people feel as steals something from the origin of her being derived from
just
love
of her
and
mother.
Woman. So it does in a way undermine the entire mythology.
Yeah.
But agnostic of that, I did find it to be like a refreshing story.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the main continuity at the time, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I could understand more. Like, oh, you're taking away something wonderful to push in something
darker,
agitating and darker. Yeah,
I see.
So like a good story, but maybe not the best Wonder Woman story.
I could get that. I get that. Still, I mean, I still love that whole run though. Anywho, Absolute Wonder Woman #4.
Yeah.
Still great.
Aces. And Hayden Sherman.
Fresh AF.
Hayden Sherman is crushing. Crushing. I like the panel work is just as intricate and fun as it was from the very first issue on. How he captures the action and the sound effects is just so wonderful.
I like a little Family Circus reference.
Yeah. There's also
kids ask your great grandparents what Family Circus was.
There's also a sequence here where it becomes so her whole thing is basically magic. And they really commit to one of the silliest, dumbest magical pieces of magical realism for like the final little like climactic battle. And I was just fist pumping. I'm like, this I forgot. In any other book, this is stupid.
So dumb.
But it's so wonderful.
It's so goofy looking, but I'm still like gnarly.
Nailed it.
It feels like it belongs in Wonder Woman Dead Earth by Daniel Warren Johnson. Oh, it's like metal AF.
There's absolute metal vibes in this.
Yeah.
And
highly recommend. This is y'all. Don't be sleeping on Absolute Wonder Woman, please.
This is an
wonderful.
A+ book. Yeah, I feel like the other two books are sucking up the oxygen. This one is just crushing. And issue 5 is the last of this arc. Issue 6 and 7 is Mateus de Luis.
I don't know who that is.
That's the guy that's the artist for
it's changing artist.
Just for 2 issues.
The Cull.
Yeah.
Also by Kelly Thompson.
Yeah, this is a wonderful book. But you know what else is wonderful?
Hey, Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, DC presents All In Wonder Woman.
Number 17,
Legacy issue 817 by Daniel King.
Daniel King
Sampere.
And Tim Sampere, Tom Sampere. Tim Taylor and...
You're just saying words. Daniel Sampere.
Tom King and Daniel Sampere.
You got it.
This is... So, a very big, I guess, complaint, critique of this book is the protracted storytelling. No, what is it? Decompressed storytelling of it all. I would say I don't think it's decompressed storytelling by definition, because a lot has happened and a lot of time has passed.
Yeah.
However, I think people are misusing decompressed because it's the same story arc for the last 15 issues.
Right.
Like it is prolonged, not decompressed, because since issue 1, it's been like a year in like time in her life.
Yeah.
Like it's not like if this was like 7 issues and it's only been an afternoon, that's decompressed.
Right.
That's not what
that's
this is.
That's a good point. Yeah.
A lot is happening a lot of time, and we're still on the same storytelling device of people don't remember, but it's the Sovereign telling Trinity 10, 15 years from now the story of her mother taking him down.
Yeah.
And we're still on that.
And he's a chatty Cathy.
I love words. I am a writer by trade. Tom King goes out of his way to present the Sovereign in character as incredibly loquacious and having one of the most $10 vocabularies in town, which in any other character would probably annoy me. But it's a feature, not a bug, for the Sovereign to instead of saying mansion again, to say men's, to overuse apogee Like,
oh yeah.
Like, this dude does that, and it makes me hate him more.
If you subjugate the apogee,
it makes me hate him more.
Yeah,
and I like that.
That's a good point. He is supposed to be insufferable.
He is,
and it works.
I think this happens a lot with Tom King's books. We'll talk about another one later, but he creates these characters that suck, and he commits to their sucking so much that I think people think like, oh, he writes like crap, or he writes so elevated, like the character is elevated. But yeah, and then Daniel St. Pierre is fucking crushing, crushing. Like there is no, I'm sorry, but there's no bad beat in this book.
This was awesome. Oh, you said you had a lukewarm take.
I did. So it's not a spoiler. The last 2 or 3 issues of this book, Wonder Woman, Diana, has been raising her daughter. She's been on maternity leave. Yeah. But there's no rest for the wicked. So she basically has employed her Wonder Girls, Donna Troy, Yara Flor, and Cassie Sandsmark, to do her bidding. So she's the last couple of issues she's been acting as a general. And the way that they've been telling the story is she is with her baby doing something, telling a story, and then it's juxtaposed with what her generals or what her soldiers are doing. And it works so much for me in the way that I bring this up all the time, when Captain America died, Brubaker made the supporting cast the primary antagonists of the book, and you felt the loss or the importance of him through that, all these people trying to fill his void. It's exactly what's happening here. You have 3 incredibly capable, badass women just kind of through their actions defining how insanely awesome and wonderful Wonder Woman is. And it's just so cool.
I love watching these 3 sisters interact and do teamwork. Like it's so much fun. I'm a huge superhero family fan. I generally like the Superman family characters working together more than I like Superman. I like the Bat family characters working together more than I like reading Batman. Same here with Wonder Woman. I love watching these 3. And Yara Flor, man, we need more of her. I don't know what happened to her. Like, she got kicked off with such a big splash and then sort of just fizzled until this series.
That book by Joelle Jones was really good. It took forever to kind of get started. I think it was like 4 issues before she was actually like the Yara Flor.
Yeah.
Or the Wonder Woman of Amazon. I don't know what they've been doing with her since. And honestly, too, I didn't really have a grasp of her characterization other than she's a little bit rebellious. What Tom King is doing with her is that she is basically the coolest person in the room and does not have a problem telling you that. That's her characterization. And I love it so much.
Here's my problem with Trinity.
Oh, sure.
Wonder Woman's daughter. Is that it feels like the same characterization as Yara Flor.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Personally, I think she feels more like rebellious Cassie. Like Cassie younger, though. Like Yara Flor is punk rock. Trinity is rebellious.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's an edict of Trinity. It's just more like, mom doesn't tell me everything and I'm tired of it. Not, let's burn the world and make it better.
You know what it is? I think most of the interactions I've seen, I think all of the interactions I've seen with Trinity have been with her older brothers.
We've never seen...
And that's her flexing on her older brothers in a playful manner. But it reads a lot like the way Yara Flor is acting in this, where she shows up, I'm the badass. I'm giving you an out so that Wonder Woman will know that I tried to give you an out before I wreck your shit. You know, maybe that's what it is that I've only seen her interacting with her brothers.
Yeah, we've never seen her.
I'm sorry, her brothers being Damien and John Kent.
Her babysitters.
Yeah, her babysitters.
And also, too, we've never seen, teenage Trinity interact with adult Diana. Yeah. It's been very swept away. Also, I really enjoy just like, zooming out 10,000 feet. I really enjoy in continuity kind of stories that also exist in a pocket. I feel like when this super arc is done, which I think is supposed to end around 19 or 20, then we will start to introduce the idea of Wonder Woman being a mother in other books. Yeah. Like right now it's been able to just exist here in a bubble, tell his whole story, and then it starts being... I love that kind of continuity changes where it's just like slow seeds and then just like, okay, the rest of the world can play with these characters now.
Green Lantern Far Sector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave them the space to fill that whole story, and then Joe Mullen kind of became part of continuity as opposed to just immediately.
Just releasing her all at once.
Yeah, I love that. Like, let me breathe with this person for a little while before they become on every T-shirt. Which honestly, maybe that was the problem with Yara Flor.
Overexposure too immediately.
Like she was
in forcing her down
she was in
throats.
those DC Nation .1s. They announced a TV show of her.
That's right.
She had she was in 5 books before her book launched, and then all of a sudden it was just like it went away. Yeah.
Another fresh AF, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Number 17.
Damn good books this week so far.
This week is killing it, dude.
Let's get to our favorite wall crawler now. We'll start with Ultimate Spider-Man number 13, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Marco Cicchetto.
Cicchetto? I always say
two
Cicchetto.
C's is a ch
or Cicchetto
because I'm Italian. So this feels late, and I'll tell you why. This comes out every month. It does. It's never had a late issue. It usually comes out earlier in the month.
Does it?
But we had that 1 year in that kind of that had to come out first.
Denny's Camp.
Because it feels, I was just like, did I miss an issue? And then I realized no, the Christmas issue was the last one. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, but that feels like 18 years ago.
Oh.
Doesn't it? Like it was like the second week of December. Oh, it was about a month.
Yeah, to me it seems
It
normal.
feels so long.
My reaction was...
I did have to double check the numbers. I was like, I didn't miss one, right?
Right.
Yeah.
My reaction was, oh, Ultimate Spider-Man's out again. Cool. Oh, right. The last one was with the thing with the stuff. Oh, I can't wait to read this.
Yeah, right?
It took me a second to remember where we were at, and then I went, oh, I got to read it.
I think that's a product of the real time.
Yeah.
Where it's like these books all, smash cut in with media res of not going to catch up, or you have to catch up. So every time I start a new issue, I'm like, oh, time has passed. Okay, okay. We had a cliffhanger, but they didn't.
Yeah. I don't know how much I want to spoil about issue 12, the one just before this, because it's such a good reveal. I kind of gasp at the end.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we could talk about in this issue without spoiling anything.
Oh, you know what? Let's not talk about that bit, but I do want to say that there are some wonderful allusions to ultimate versions of classic storylines that are genuinely creative, original, really, really cool.
Okay.
Don't you like looking at that first page?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's wild. When I can't even say that. I was going to say what Bendis did, his version of Ultimate, how they treated it. I was like, oh, that's a really cool way of treating that.
Yeah.
Like, could you make it this is completely different, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so wildly cool.
I can't wait to see where that new character is going.
But it also kind of aligns with how they've treated Harry Osborn up to this point too, because he is a pure ally with just not the same moral compass.
Yeah.
This is really cool too. I feel like it's almost in the same vein. Yeah, this book is amazing.
See, there was a couple months there where I was like, it's fine. It's back to being amazing. This book's awesome.
Ultimate Spider-Man, I never left you. I never left you. You were always amazing to me.
It's fresh AF.
There's a list. There's a list in my head of all the wonderful, life-changing things that this book has given me. One of them is the Ben Parker I love now forever.
Yeah.
Because Ben Parker has just always been like an enigma of, a pillar out there that you're never going to see. This Ben Parker is so fucking cool.
And I love that he's best friends with JJJ.
Him and JJJ being the investigative reporters just solving crimes.
Never knew I needed it.
I want a 12-issue maxi series of that.
Yeah.
And it could just be them doing their laundry and bickering. Also, removing each of their love interests, so they are basically they're each other's foils.
Yeah,
it's the best thing this book has ever done.
So good.
And then when they give Peter his family, they've done it in really, really fun and interesting ways. It's not just like he's got a baby he's got to save now. Like no, they're all older. Everyone has their own
agency.
I love it.
Yep.
I absolutely
love
this book.
His kid reminds me of the kid from there was a previous
Richard or May.
Richard.
It is okay. Yeah.
The redhead. There was a previous story by I think it was Sarah Pichelli drew it. What was
that's
that?
The Abrams.
J.J. Abrams.
J.J.
It reminds me of that kid.
It does. And that book was unfairly maligned. It was a fine Elseworld. But yeah, it wasn't people freaked out. for no reason. That was just called Spider-Man.
Is that what it was? Okay.
It's just called Spider-Man by JJ and Henry Abrams. I want to make one more plea about this book. Everyone should also read Black Panther, Ultimate Black Panther.
I only read the first issue.
Dude, it is not unlike this book is that it just keeps like building, and then all of a sudden something big will happen, and you're like, this is essential reading, and then it'll slowly build. Like the way that he's pacing out the book is so cool. We
got the trade paperbacks in the shop. I'll have to check one out.
At this point, we're into like the Ultimate Sorcerer Supreme and gods fighting gods. Like the book gets
That's right.
huge.
There's like Khonshu and
it's Khonshu and Ra
yeah,
trying to crack Wakanda and take all their people because it's the Maker's Council. They're two gods on the Maker's Council, and they're just like, we want Wakanda.
That's awesome.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And maybe adamantium is sentient. We don't know. Yeah, it's a cool book. It's a really, really cool book.
I'll try it out.
Everyone should read it, but not that book. This book.
Amazing Spider-Man number 66, Legacy numbers 960. I've got the Scotty Young. I think he's been doing like the itsy bitsy spider.
Oh, it's the
water spout and all that.
No, it's just the different ways that the Spider-Man could die.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's so like the first
this
issue
one being
was
a water spout.
Yeah, the first one was like a big giant newspaper, and then
that's
like,
right.
It's just a bunch of cute ways that Spider-Man could die because it's called The 8 Deaths of Spider-Man.
So I missed the last 3 issues of this book.
Oh, interesting.
And then
including the
point death.
Yeah.
What the? Anyway, no reason for that to exist.
No.
Like it's a fine issue. It just should have been issue 66, not 65 point death.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is by Justina Ireland and
that's why
Andrea Broccardo. Did you say that?
That's why it's good.
Oh, so yeah, I thought I caught up, and then I started this issue, and I was like, what? And then I realized, I didn't catch up. There was an issue I missed there. The whole one where he goes up against, what is her name?
One of the children of Sidorak. I don't care.
The lady.
Like
the lady who seems to have actual empathy.
I stopped trying to learn all of the children of Sidorak's names.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the issue before this one, the main issue before this one.
Sira.
There you go. It was twins. The guy, the male twin is just
Calyx.
Wants to punch everyone, and she's a little bit more strategic.
Mm-hmm.
She gives him a challenge that is don't drop this ball, and shows him over and over again the possible deaths of everyone around him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it extends to possible deaths of everyone he even meets, not even has to know.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically experiences and feels millions of people's deaths.
Yeah.
But never drops the ball.
Yeah. It's not just that he witnesses it. He feels every death.
He mourns every single death and over again. It's like it's
magic. Like several lifetimes of emotion, I think. Because I was reading the one, I was like, why is he so bummed out? This is not like the Peter.
I was going to say he comes out unchanged. He just grabs a piece of pizza, goes off thwipping. No, he ends that issue quitting. Yeah. He's like, whatever. F your challenges, your
the world's doomed? I mean, we're all doomed anyway. What's the point?
Yeah, nothing we do about it. Screw it.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think it's fine.
It's a bit of a turn. I didn't expect it. It's not a version of Peter I'm used to.
I liked it. So I think it's unreal. The center of Peter, the center of Peter. And when I say center, I do it with an E at the end. Center.
Yeah.
Of Peter is that he doesn't give up.
Mm-hmm.
That he keeps going no matter how hard it gets. But in order to make that interesting, you also have to believe that he should give up or needs to give up or is in a losing situation. And I think for dramatic purposes, he also has to feel that from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So I have no issues with this. And for it to be like, Gwen dies. He makes it. But if after that they did like a why am I here kind of thing, then it would feel a little like, But witnessing it a million times over and over again, everyone around him that he ever touches and sees and knows, I think that's sufficient enough to feel like apathy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I don't think this is lasting, obviously. But yeah, I'm okay with this being a story beat because honestly, too, if this really was just like 8 issues of new guy punch, I wouldn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing this nice curveball of him feeling emo.
Yeah.
I'm good. I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's just it's strange.
Does it make you feel weird?
It makes me feel weird.
Then that's doing its job.
The job.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I do like. Sierra.
Yeah.
I like that she's like noticing it and is confused by it.
She's
and
only
is, like empathetic towards it.
She's confused.
And she's not interested. The thing about her is of all of the siblings of Sidorak, it's like I don't care. This is the dumbest crap. I don't even want to be a part of it. Can we just do this and move along with our quote unquote lives? But then this really throws her for a loop.
Yeah. Also, too, for the existence of their lives, the utility of this doesn't make any sense. So, like, the whole conceit of this book is that every Supreme, every cycle, something, there are 8 or 10? There's 10 children. I think there's 10 children. Have a tournament to fight the chosen protector of Earth, and they just go through the motions every time they do it. No one has ever seen what happens when they win. 8
scions.
There you go. Yeah. No one ever seen what happens when they win. They just do it. So like one of the siblings to be slightly smarter and feel like, we're just in a system. Yeah. Why is this even existing? Mm-hmm. To be kind of shaken out of that by Spider-Man, I think, is a really, really cool turn. I don't think she's going to be a good guy, but the idea of her being confused, she has a whole conversation with Doctor Strange about like, when we were fighting you compartmentalized and blah. This cat cares.
Yeah.
Even when he thinks he's not, and that's confusing to me. Yeah. And I actually think that's a really, really
And I think
good.
Doctor Strange says, "Yeah, that's Spider-Man."
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah.
and again, not unlike Wonder Woman, Captain America, when you take your character out of their comfort zone, you can define how important their specific slot is through the prism of other characters.
Yeah.
So having his enemy and Doctor Strange kind of like both be confused by how wonderful he is, but then also perplexed, like confused and impressed by perplexing he is I think really, really great way to define the character without blatantly just defining him.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole thing with Felicia, keep going,
gimme,
just be in a relationship forever.
Yeah, where Felicia stands here.
Mary Jane's got Paul. We're fine. Who I think is the new Venom.
You think Paul is the new Venom?
I think it should be Paul.
The all-new Venom?
I think it should be Paul.
Wouldn't you be annoyed if they have set up 4 possibilities and then it's a 5th possibility?
No.
No,
because I think the other possibilities are a little boring. Like, okay. I don't want it to be Madame Mask. I don't want it to be
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. I think we've. It's not Luke Cage. The last issue was like, oh, it can't be him. Maybe it is. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I want it to be Paul, and I think he wears a yellow shirt too. So like,
there's the gold.
That's it. That's the.
He's got a gold tooth.
Yeah.
So anyone who doesn't know, NBC 10 came to my shop. They called me the day that All New Venom #2 came out last week. I think it was.
It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. We've been off for a little while.
They were like, "Hey, there's a gritty villain. Can we come talk to you about it?" And I was like, "What? There's a what?" Yeah, All New Venom #2 has a silly villain called Chuck Stuff.
That week.
Yeah, I didn't even read it yet. But yeah, NBC 10 came and did a little interview with me and put me on air and stuff like that, talking about Chuck Stuff.
And I didn't get it at the time. The character doesn't know much about Philadelphia, but like says they do.
Yeah.
And it's a joke in the book, but I didn't read it as that.
Yeah.
What is it? He throws cheesesteaks, but he says, no, they're hoagies.
Hoagies.
And even Venom's like, no, dude.
Those are cheesesteaks.
Yeah. Anyway.
I didn't get that either. That doesn't read in the issue, I don't think.
Yeah, I think somebody on Facebook, or it was Randy. It was just like, oh, this guy doesn't get Philly.
It's just somebody who thinks they're
I don't think
Philly.
He's supposed to get Philly. I think he's a villain. I think that's the goal.
Right in the John. Hey, so I read something that Noel did not read by Scott Snyder and Jock from
Jock.
Distillery Publishing, DSTLRY. They've been around for about a year now, and it is a creator-owned, oversized, I would say magazine-sized, perfect bound.
What did
comic book series?
What did DC call that? With their black super prestige or
prestige?
No. They had a fake name for it.
Oh, I don't know.
Super prestige.
I don't know. What they were doing with the Black Label stuff on and off.
Yeah, but that format,
size.
That magazine format, they would call it like in the solicitations they would make up a word for it to let you know that it was a larger a larger size, like super prestige.
So Scott Snyder and Jock had previously teamed up on a series that I really quite liked, a horror series called Witches with a Y.
Soon to be a TV show.
Is it?
Yeah, animated, I believe.
Wonderful. And now they're back with You Won't Feel a Thing. Remember a series that came out about 5 years ago about a superhero who was older and was suffering from early onset dementia?
Wait.
Remember that? In Chicago, I think it took place. And
oh, yeah.
what was that called?
Wow. You knew the artist.
I did, yeah. Anyhoomst. So that's what we have here. This is a horror story. It's a detective story about a detective who is in a
detecting stuff
home for the elderly because he has a tumor knocking up against his brain, and he is losing his faculties, his intelligence, his memory, what have you. And so we have a unreliable narrator, who has been a detective, and he hunted down serial killers, and this one serial killer that no one else really believes existed comes a-calling. And this is great.
Yeah.
I really like this. Like the jock art
of it all.
The jock of it all is fine. This is a looser jock than I'm used to, and jock started off pretty loose.
How is the so my problem with his last book for Distillery was that movie, the book Gone.
I didn't read it.
The pacing and the panel work I really didn't like, because there were large action sequences that completely skipped beats because, like, I don't know, it felt like they didn't service the story with the large action beats, just the action beats, and you're like, well, but what happened to this character in that explosion? Because we just kept, like, it was loose.
Yeah,
it was loosely plotted. How does this feel? Is it like
this is toit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jock is his work here is fine, but it's really the writing I think that's aces.
I was gonna say I like it when he's reined in.
Yeah, this is really good. I like unreliable narrators. I like detective stories. I like serial killer stories. This is like knocking on all my itches. Or scratching on my itches?
No. Let's
knocking on heaven's doors.
I like to slap itches.
Oh, I do too. Yeah. Sometimes I will use my nail and just dig into an itch.
Oh yeah, you're supposed to do a cross, like
mosquito bites.
Bite.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just dig in.
I think isn't that bullshit? It's like
I don't
a
know.
wives' tale. It's bullshit. Just put your nail.
You know what is bullshit? You know the whole thing about carrots, right?
Oh, eyesight
and carrots.
Yeah, it's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, but you know why?
You've never seen a rabbit with glasses? That's why.
Yeah. Do you know what it comes from?
No.
The British Army had a new type of radar against the Germans, and so in order for them not to find out that they had this new radar for Germans, they were like, carrots are good for your eyesight, and that's why our pilots are so good. That's where that comes from.
This is propaganda?
Propaganda.
I love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of propaganda, DC... Oh, it's not an all-in. It's just DC. I don't know what to do with
I forgot
myself.
what we're doing. What are we doing?
Black Canary, Best of the Best, number 3, written
More
by
Tom
King.
Taylor. Tom King. Sorry. I'm reading some Tom Taylor as well.
Written by Tim Taylor with art with art by Ryan Sook.
By Don King.
That's right. This is the 3rd issue of a series that is preposterous.
Let me ask you this. Is it still great?
Yeah, it's really fun.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's really, really fun. I don't know how Dinah is going to survive. Or sorry, Dinah is their mom. Right?
What? No, Dinah. The Black Canary.
I thought the mom's name was Dinah.
Oh, shoot.
Whatever.
That's how much I know about Black Canary.
Black Canary. I don't know how she's going to survive. This book is absolutely preposterous. It's each issue is set up as a round in a 6-round fight between Black Canary and Lady Shiva. Why there's a sanctioned fight? No idea. Why they say multiple times that billions of people are watching it? No idea. Why everyone seems to know everyone's secret identity in this fighting ring? No idea. But it's still fun, and Ryan Sook is just absolutely crushing on art. This continues it continues the same storytelling paradigm that the other issues have, but we get a couple more secrets, a couple more layers kind of come out. The way that this whole book is structured is we have the match, but then it's juxtaposed with some of her training, and then we learn a little bit through the training what got Sarah here. Sarah Lance? Is it Sarah? Dinah and Sarah?
No.
God damn it. Black Canary. But Batman makes an appearance. Wildcat makes an appearance. This is just a really great book. The art is spectacular. If you think about this premise for more than it takes you to open up the first page, falls apart hard. But the whole purpose of books,
they're both named Dinah. One's Dinah Drake and one's Dinah Lance. Get the.
Okay, so I wasn't right, but I wasn't wrong. Hey.
True. Yeah. I kept Googling and I'm like, why is everyone named Dinah? What's happening?
Didn't win, didn't lose.
Yep.
I'm in.
No, this is ridiculous.
It's absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't deserve scrutiny, but it is just masterfully put together.
It's fun.
Yeah. And yeah, like the Tom King commits to a bit.
Mm-hmm.
The entire 90% of the dialogue in this book is the announcers of the fight.
Yeah.
Fight announcers are very verbose and very annoying. So like reading through the first 2 issues, you're just like, this is kind of annoying. But it starts to click at some point that that's the only dialogue you're going to get, especially when they're fighting. There are a couple of bits in here where it's just like, I think we have a mic on that side of the ring. What did they say? But other than that, like, yeah, it's it commits. It's also incredibly brutal. And then it moves from a boxing match to, or it kind of moves from boxing / MMA to straight up professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a lot of professional wrestling moves and stuff in here with like chairs and foreign objects, which sure. Okay.
Why not?
Like I'm starting to realize the fight is actually the fight.
God.
Yeah, I know. The fight itself is immaterial to the,
Jesus.
other stories that we're seeing framed within the fight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to get brutal. It's really stupid, but it's so well done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a really good time.
Yeah. And dude, Ryan Sook, come on.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it last time too.
Masterful.
He's channeling Mike Cho.
Frank Cho?
Frank Cho. There you go. He's channeling Frank Cho. I do it every time. He's channeling Frank Cho with like the physicality and like the muscly women's, and it's just really well done.
Sometimes I wonder with weeks like this, because there have been weeks that aren't like this. There are weeks like this where we just glaze on everything. And like everything's amazing. Everything's fresh AF. Lest that happen here. Dr. Doom and Rocket Raccoon #1. It's a one-shot from Marvel by J. Michael Straczynski and Will Robson. I don't know.
Say Robson.
And so I guess at some point, Dr. Doom and Rocket Raccoon switched brains or something.
Yeah.
I was not privy to that during Guardians of the Galaxy.
What year does it say?
It just says Guardians of the Galaxy #14. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, 2020.
So that's the Bendis run.
Oh,
wait. 2020?
Was that the one with it was like a Western?
No.
Oh, that's more recent.
Is that Al Ewing?
Yeah.
I'll find out. Keep going.
The most entertaining part of this book, where I guess 1 or 2 pages where the associate and the associate editor, the editor and the associate editor were talking to each other via blurbs, which was kind of cute. I read it, and then it was over, and I thought, okay.
Yeah, that's the Al Ewing run.
The 2020 run.
Yeah, which I read, but I don't remember that. It was probably just a throwaway joke or like a
Right.
one-issue thing of them trading bodies.
Well, it was issue number 14, page 15, just so you know.
And that run only went like 19 issues. So
Yeah. What did you think of it? Like, it's kind of cute the way they were trying to figure out entropy and how to get before the Big Bang that created everything. I feel like that conversation went on a little too long. And I don't think all of that setup really led to a satisfying conclusion. And so it was just kind of over.
So I like the idea a lot. I think it's well written. I did not. There were many, many times in this book where I doubted the character motivations for both of them.
Yes.
Like, Rocket is chaotic good. Like, he likes to kind of mess shit up and then play with stuff. And he's usually pretty agnostic about like allegiances as long as it's like, to his benefit, or he knows he could swap it around.
Mm-hmm.
He, for the purposes of the story, he just intrinsically trusts and works with Doom.
Now, is that a result of them having swapped brains?
Doesn't seem that way because he mentions you're paying me well and your payment will be so like we're just
transactional.
We're just chill with this.
And also, I didn't know that we were in a spot with Dr. Doom where now he was trying to be a good guy.
I don't think he's trying to be a good guy. I just think he knows he's a good guy. Or he believes himself to be a good person.
There's a whole, and I don't think this, I'm not sure this is a spoiler alert, but there's a whole section here where he's talking about his origin and who he used to be, and now he's trying to be good.
I didn't read it that way.
With that knowledge came two things: a desire to do better, to be better.
Yes, because no matter what his I don't think that he ever doubts his motivations, but I do. That whole sequence to me was to articulate that he, in retrospect, finds himself to be on the wrong side of history despite being correct. So he wants to learn more in order to be on the right side of history and right at the same time. Not a good person. Just do better. Do me better.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, like it's a little less.
Do me better.
Yeah.
Do me.
Cut that. No. Yeah. No. I think it's more of, despite knowing that I am correct and the smartest person in the room, I keep finding myself on the wrong side of history. Yeah. So I need to learn what started all of this to put it back into shape.
Gotcha. And then it ends in a way that I was just like, saw that coming.
Basically.
Yeah. The way most of these stories end.
Yeah, because right. Well, I kind of appreciated the swing. Like the main thing that they're trying to discover or do is pretty huge and kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But it also it's so big and cool that the only way that it could end is in kind of like the friends we made along the way kind of bullshit.
Also, having read the history of the Marvel Universe.
Fuck yeah, man.
Wasn't
written
that
by Mark Waid with art by Javier Pulido?
That's the one.
Yeah.
A nice treasury edition you can get.
No, it's totally out of print, but you can get the trade paperback, which is just wonderful to read.
I mean, this was Galactus is a character who comes from the previous universe, and he was there for the invention of this universe. Yeah, but he's nowhere to be found here.
Well,
right? Does this sort of go against that version of the Marvel Universe as we know it?
No, I think it's not so much. I think it's more like, to answer that question, I feel like we would spoil the book.
Okay, then don't spoil it. Did you like it?
But I think it's like those things are concurrent with each other. Not Galactus was the one opening the door.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like the expand and contrast. He was just a part of it and survived it. Not. Gotcha. Hey guys.
Yeah.
You know.
I would have loved that if he just like flew by the panel. Hey guys.
Yeah. Or he's just like he walks in the room afterwards and like, was somebody here? Yeah.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah. I got stuck in the other universe. Yeah. So sorry, I'm late.
What did you think? Do you care?
I think this feels like a drawer story.
Yes. But listen.
There's like 5 of them coming.
There's 5 one-shots coming.
Yeah.
These are all by J. Michael Straczynski. We've got this one plus Captain America and Volstagg, Nick Fury versus Fing Fan Foom, Hulk and Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider versus Galactus, and Spider-Man versus the Marvel Universe.
I am not against vanity projects, which this basically seems to be just like Marvel being like, hey, JMS, you don't want to run an ongoing. Is there something else you want to do?
Yeah. I mean, isn't he writing Captain?
No, they didn't.
America did it? People did not like that.
Made it 14 issues and just like bounced. But this feels like a bucket list kind of thing, just throwing random people together, telling a story. I don't hate it, but I also didn't think this was. I don't know. Maybe we read so much that we saw all this coming and it's whatever.
Yeah.
But either way, the art didn't really do anything for me. It's I don't know. I've seen the name before. I just don't really know Robeson.
The art didn't get me at all.
It's very Alan Davis-esque, so it's like a...
How dare you? Don't you dare. Take that name out of your mouth.
I mean in so much as like these are like 1970s versions of the character.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay,
like,
that tracks.
he hasn't evolved past Claremont era versions of characters. Yeah. So this almost feels like it happened 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Like this is a cartoon face Rocket. Mm-hmm. Like it looks like Mickey Mouse. Yeah. Like literally his ears look like Mickey Mouse. So this is like an art style that I don't. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Like I just like the way that this all is put together. Like the writer, the artist, the plot line. It just all feels almost random and or quaint.
I want to know if Brian Lieb likes this comic. I feel like
I think he would love this.
I feel like he would dig it.
He would absolutely adore this.
Yeah. Anyone who's one of our friends and previous co-host of the CultPop live stream.
He loves this kind of like deep in the weeds, navel gazy, 1970s-esque what ifs type stuff.
Barely fresh for me. Like my week would have been no different if I didn't read it.
Yeah, I ain't mad at it, but barely fresh is probably right. Like, it's fine. It's not bad. It's just fine.
We got to wrap this up because I got to open my shop in just a few minutes. DC presents All In Justice League Unlimited #3, Dawn of the Atom Project, which is strange because the Atom Project already came out, by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. You've had your slight
Mark
issues.
Mora and Dan Waid.
You had slight issues with the past 2 issues.
I still have them.
You still have them here?
Yes.
I'm surprised.
This is very good. This is all like better. The book is slowing down to kind of like give you places and settings in order to like get your head wrapped around stuff. First 2 issues didn't care to do that. So this is like equalizing and better. But having read this and Superman this week, both drawn by Dan Mora, I don't know if Dan Mora is a god among men.
Yes.
In regards to artists. Mm-hmm. I don't know if his strength is in team books.
Right.
It is more in character driven, only a handful of kind of characters. Yeah. So like the way that he plots it, the way that he paces Superman this week, as well as like Once and Future and all the other stuff that he was doing, great. The giant event style 14 plot lines happening at once and 700 characters, he could draw them. They look gorgeous. But it seems like we're just cutting off the ends of scenes. Like the pacing is off.
Subtle.
No.
It's the Jim Lee school of storytelling.
But he didn't.
But I think he's actually better than Jim Lee.
I do too. But he doesn't do it in other books. For some reason, these like Absolute Power and this, it's like he's skipping beats and bits, and it's really good, but it's also like, I know how good you actually are and what's happening here. Like,
see, but I also wonder, the one we're enjoying slightly more is the Williamson. So it might just be in the script, right?
Maybe it
Absolute
is Waid's
Powers,
thing, yeah.
Mark Waid. Justice League Unlimited, also Mark Waid.
But when they had a more contained story that they were telling in World's Finest, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, so it might be a Mark Waid.
I think
maybe it's what he does with
it's
team books.
Team book thing. Yeah, but maybe Mora's not the
best fit.
No, but he draws all this wonderfully.
It's so good. I love looking at it.
And also, too, this might be an imaginary problem I have that will all be fixed by the end of this first arc. Right. I don't know. But right now, from Absolute Power into this, it feels like 75% as opposed to the 100 that they've been going. Yeah.
I have not had the same problems you've had with this. I think it's great. We shared the same problem with Absolute Power, especially that one scene. But here, this has not been a problem for me. I think this is delightful and fun, and I love both these guys working on this book.
It's not as egregious whatsoever, because in Absolute Power, we straight up left characters dangling, not even in like a fun, dramatic way. Just don't worry about it. Like, it was a lot of hand waving as a story because they were just like going too fast.
Go, go, go. Yeah.
This is less that. This is not that bad. But
I also love seeing Dan Mora draw a Swamp Thing.
Oh, I want to see him do Swamp Thing so bad. And so, this I think this has been the best issue so far.
Yeah, I agree. Once it slowed down and started having an actual conversation.
Also, this whole subplot, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, the Atom Project subplot.
I do think that this is fresh as hell. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. My bar for this creative team
is so high.
Yeah, it feels like it all has to be perfect.
It's not Fresh Plus,
which is honestly that's my baggage.
Yeah,
and that's fine. But let's end with another
banger,
wonderful banger. Yeah, DC presents All In Superman #22, Legacy 865, written by Joshua Williamson with art by
Dan Mora.
This kid named Dan Mora. This is a perfect comic book.
It's so fun. I cannot believe I'm saying this about Superman.
So good.
Josh Williamson. I used to be a Josh Williamson hater. And by hater, I mean, I'm like, he was fine. I don't really care about him. But
he clicks on on Superman, man.
Yeah, as soon as he got on Superman, I was like, hold up.
And it was, so for a little while, I thought maybe it was just the artists because they were putting some of the best artists on here. Mm-hmm. But even when they switched artists and kind of like, it was just fine.
Yeah.
The story was still
banger.
Great. Yeah. Yep. Like I really do adore this book. It's really quite wonderful. And I think Dan Mora is the perfect fit for it. Mm-hmm. The way that he depicts both Clark and Lois. Is just his version of Supergirl is basically my favorite.
Yes, I actually did a double take. There's a scene where Supergirl is just half lit by a skylight, and she is just hovering in front of Doomsday. And as soon as I turned the page, I went, oh, like there's just something about that pose, the majesty of it, the way her hair is flowing. Like it's just a really striking image of Supergirl.
Also, too, some of these action sequences are like we're not seeing this level of craft in the more plot intricate Justice League book. Like this fight against the what is it, the Radiant?
Yeah, it's weird.
The way that
since there's
that he works the panels is just so freaking cool. But it's not something that the other book allows space for.
Yeah.
So I'm getting more of a meal in this book. Like I'm getting full. Like come on, look at this.
Look at that. Oh, look at that.
This double page spread in the back. Come on, man. Come on.
We were both showing each other different pages being, look at this.
This book allows his art to breathe, and Justice League Unlimited is just bang, 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 bang. And nothing gets to breathe, not even the story. Which, again, for a lot of people, that's probably the feature. But I love this artist so much that I kind of want, I want to take time with the pages. I want to give them more than one page to do an entire action sequence. I really like this book a lot. This is wonderful.
I love Superwoman.
Yeah, she's great. I want her to stay around for a long time.
You know, they've done it with Mary Jane, and it doesn't quite work. But somehow with Lois, it really works. Like she could be like this for a good long while, and I'll be happy.
Well, because she's always been... So Mary Jane has gone through a lot of weird transformations of like, damsel, actress, model... Yeah. And they've given her bits and bobs of agency, but for a very, very large amount of her publication history, she was nothing but a damsel or a hanger-on. And then they switched that around. But from inception, Lois has always been her own antagonist. Yeah, she has always been. That's a good point. A driver of the story. So the difference between giving her powers and giving somebody like Mary Jane powers is. It's baked into the cake with Lois. She has always been her own hero for the story. Whereas for Mary Jane, it's a bit of a role reversal, so it just doesn't always seem to fit. Right. Which also, too, I think like the larger conversation of DC lets Superman be a dad. Why can't they let Spider-Man be a dad? I'm like, Superman has, first of all, like, the idea of DC having legacy is just also baked into the cake. Yeah. It is not a part of like Marvel continuity for the most part. Yeah. Also, the inception of the Spider-Man character is Arrested Development, failing forward, doing your best.
The old Parker luck.
The inception of Superman is Daddy God, but with the heart of a farm boy. Yeah. Like, so making him a role model is very, very different than making Spider-Man a role model. So you can't compare them apples to apples. You just can't. And I think this is the same thing with Lois Lane and
Mary Jane.
MJ.
So
Gwen.
Banger week, y'all. If you get to the local comic shop today or this week, pick up a couple of these at least. Like there's some good stuff out on the shelves today. There's not always like that.
No.
Sometimes it's like the books are a bit of a slog to get through.
No, this was a good week. Yeah. It was a fun week.
Fresh AF. This week on the live stream.
This week on the podcast we're going to be talking about Wolf Man. And I think we're going to give our thoughts about Creature Commandos.
We are. Yeah. Yes, we are.
Creature Commandos, Wolfman. So join us. If you can't join us live, which is usually Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, then you can join us fucking whenever.
Because they're up there
forever on our YouTube channel. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions on what we should review, whether for the show and or here, that's cultpopgo@gmail.com, CultPopgo@gmail.com.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, and we'll talk at you later.
Do.
Skiddly-dee-doo.
Thank you for listening to the Cult Pop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.